Hello, customers. First and foremost, the Imagine team hopes you are all staying safe and healthy during these times. During this webinar, we'll be covering a few tips when cashing checks during this outbreak. Before we get started, please note that you can get in touch with our team via phone at 1-877-271-1107 or via chat by visiting our help center on our website and clicking on Chat with an Agent, or via email by submitting a ticket through our help center section. Rest assured, we'll be responding as soon as possible to answer any questions you may have. So let's get started. During this outbreak, you may encounter an increase in check cashing for high dollar amount checks or new customers. We want to advise you to be careful, and this may be a result of these very same outbreak. And in times of desperation, customers may be forging checks for higher dollar amounts. As a helpful tip, do not turn your good known customers away during these unprecedented times. Turning these customers away may result in losing business from them once the COVID-19 outbreak is neutralized. Cash checks at your own risk, but take our recommendations in mind to prevent fraud. Let's go over the do's. Cash checks for known customers only. This is highly recommended because you know these customers. They come to you frequently and you have done the necessary verifications and taken the required precautions when accepting these customers. To ensure that you are only cashing checks for known customers, run the check through the check reader and make sure Imagine Quick Check recognizes the profile and it is not asking you to create a new company or customer. Cash small checks rather than a large amount. During this outbreak, you may experience higher dollar amount checks. We strongly suggest to accept smaller amounts to continue serving your customers, but avoid taking a greater risk with higher dollar amount checks. To set the system to prevent you from cashing high dollar amount checks, go to Administration, click on Risk Management Policies, and enter the value you want to set for these sort of checks. And you can do this under the Mature Customer Policies. Under the policy, do not cash any checks more than, enter whole amount. Make sure to activate this policy and save the settings. Let's run a test to see what happens when I attempt to cash a check greater than the amount I have set up. Next, use Imagine policies to get alerts. As you know, Imagine has intelligent policies that can prevent you or your employees from taking too many checks from customers or companies. We even have the policies that can stop you from cashing checks greater than an amount you normally cash for a customer. If the customer usually cashes $300 a week, you can set up your risk management policy in Imagine to make sure the system prevents you from taking any checks for existing customers greater than a 10 or 20% increase. To set this up, go to Administration, Risk Management Policies, and set up the value here. Next, always run checks through the check reader device. Do not by all means process a check manually, as this will significantly increase the possibility of fraud. Make sure to run it through your check reader device to make sure that the device reads the maker line on the check. Many times when a check is fraud, it can be easily detected by running it through the check reader because these checks are usually printed at home and no maker data is present. And finally, ensure the back of the check is signed at the counter in front of you. If a customer is attempting to cash a check, make sure the back of the check is blank when presenting the check at your store. If the check for some reason is already signed, this may mean that the customer has attempted to cash the check elsewhere and was declined from cashing the check, or he may have attempted to do a mobile deposit. Here are a few don'ts. Do not enter checks manually for the very same reason that it could have been printed at home or it could be a fraud check. Do not cash high dollar amount checks. Do not take checks for new customers. And do not skip verification processes. Once again, our entire team will be available via phone by calling 1-877-271-1107. Thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing your questions and feedback soon. Stay safe.